Hey, Life fam. This week's interview looks slightly different than our usual coverage. I had the pleasure of visiting Dorchester, UK this week, and I spoke with several members of the Dorchester Association, the Dorset History Centre, and the Dorset Museum and Art Gallery about our shared past, much of which hinges around the character of John White. You're going to hear a lot more about John in the following segment, but before we get to it, I want to sincerely thank all of the Dorchester UK folks who participated. Your warm welcomes, your attention to detail, your deep knowledge on the subjects at hand, and your enthusiasm about Dorchester, Massachusetts, it was all a joy to experience. This segment is edited for brevity and clarity, but I hope that you listeners learn as much as I did.
Yes, well, I'm David Cookson, and I got interested in the history of Dorchester when we moved here 20 years ago when I retired, and joined the Dorchester Association, which is where Michael has been heavily involved and really virtually runs it now.
And you're the author of?
And then I'm the author of that book. Now that book came about because the character John White lived in the old rectory in Dorchester, and that was about to be incorporated into the Dorset County Museum as part of their expansion plans. And so it seemed to be a good idea to sort of focus on this aspect at the time.
And figure out who he was?
And indeed, yes, and I think the hope was that perhaps some people would be interested in Boston in contributing to the cost of it. So that was the idea. And then, so I was on a little committee, and I said, I'll write a little book. And so that's how that materialized. And it was just really for publicity, and it was on sale in various places. I think it may still be about 1 or 2 copies available around the town. But basically it's now just available through Amazon.
And what are we drinking, Michael?
It's a Green King beer. It's called, I'm not sure what it's called actually.
Green King actually is not run around here at all.
Yes,
Because where your hotel is, has that was the part of the site of the local brewery, and Eldridge and Pope. And
we've seen the crests on some of the
that's right.
pubs.
So there's no local beer here now. So this is the best we can do. But this is British beer.
It's good.
Bury St Edmunds.
Yes, yes, I've lived in Bury St Edmunds before now.
So I want you to walk us through kind of what's in the book, which is what John White was doing here, what encouraged him to start thinking about the colonies and why folks should move there, and then where he ended up. He never came to Massachusetts, but he was very invested in it.
Yes, as far as John White was concerned, he became rector in Dorchester, responsible for 2 churches. That's St Peter's, and then also Holy Trinity up the street, which has now been rebuilt, so it's not the original building. And then there was a 3rd church down the road, All Saints, which is the junior church, really. And so he came from a very good academic background from Oxford, and was clearly quite a striking individual. But for the first year or 2, he wasn't making that much impact apart from the faithful.
And there was a lot of debauchery and carousing. And
there was unemployment, and people, so this was the part of the trouble, and so there was too much drinking and fighting and all that sort of thing.
And this is
1610 roundabout. The traumatic thing was the fire in 1613, and about a third of the houses were burnt down, including many businesses. So all their stock was lost.
And there was where were they getting water from to put it out? How far did they have to?
Well, there's a river down there. I don't know. I suppose they got it from the river. But the thing is,
how long did it burn?
Wells?
Wells, there would be wells as well.
Okay.
Yeah, well, of course, there's the town pump.
Right.
So they get
right.
certain amount, yeah.
And it started with a tallow fire at the candle shop.
Yeah.
And then how long did it burn?
Well, it burned for some time.
Okay.
Now, the thing was, a lot of the fit people were out in the fields helping with the harvest.
Right.
The second thing was that under the Shire Hall, there was barrels of gunpowder.
Yes.
And so, although the prevailing wind actually was taking the fire away from there, people
didn't want to risk
didn't
it.
want to risk it. So they, first thing was that they went down and got the barrels, rolled them all up the hill, out of the way.
That doesn't
And
sound
only
like
then
an easy
did they really
task.
start on the fire. So that made it more devastating than ever.
And the people in the field saw the
Yes, they would
the
come rushing
smoke,
back.
yeah.
So it would take them a while to get back to them.
And it would have to be quite big before they noticed it.
And of course, what you've got, all the upper part of the buildings was wood, so
Right.
it would burn very easily.
Yeah. So what proportion of the town lost its homes?
I think it's something about a third.
Oh, wow.
Again, details in the book.
Yeah.
But fortunately, there was only one elderly lady who died.
Okay.
So it wasn't as, but it did have a devastating effect on the morale
Sure.
of the population.
Yeah.
And people were grasping around looking for who's going to lead us out of this. And this is when John White stepped in.
Okay.
And with the leading citizens of the town, he helped them to rally round and not only just rebuild what was there, but change the whole nature of Dorchester society. And
So talk about John before this. He was a Puritan.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
Well, he was a follower of Calvin.
Okay. And that was not in vogue.
It was a time of change in that there was quite a population who were sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was tolerated, and he was an ordained minister of the Church of England. But after these events, after the fact of founding of Dorchester, Massachusetts, the whole complexion of the Church of England changed.
Okay.
With Archbishop Laud, who tried to make the Church of England more like the Roman Catholic Church in terms of ceremonial and language and all that sort of thing. And so that is when religion became a factor in emigration.
Okay.
It's not really a factor at this stage.
Okay. But so he was not a rigid Puritan. He was more...
He's not a rigid one, no.
There were sects that were,
John White remained within the Church of England the whole time.
Okay.
And he was more tolerant in any case. And this was the strain that he wanted to promote in the new settlement.
Right, okay.
And that's why, as I was saying earlier, some of those people who have felt that things were getting a bit too strict in Massachusetts took the opportunity to go to Connecticut.
Yeah, right.
And they founded a Dorchester there, which then changed its name to Windsor.
Windsor, which it is today.
Which is Windsor today.
So he was trying prior to the fire to instill these Puritan, but not rigidly Puritan beliefs, but they were kind of being taken or left as people felt fit. But then once the fire hit, he was able to use those structures.
And there was a form of social security. People were helped financially.
Yep.
There was also what they called a hospital, but in fact it was rather like a care home for children and young people.
Okay.
And they were cared for and taught a trade.
Okay.
And
they actually were displacing merchants, I think I read in your book, so the merchants were a little annoyed with them.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But they also, they founded a brewery. And this was a double thing. One, it was helped to fund all this charitable work. The other thing was that they gave the council the opportunity to close down all the unlicensed.
So it kind of concentrated the drinking to one area.
And it's under control. And I suppose it probably moderated the strength of the beer. Because of course, a lot of people, they didn't drink water, so they drank small beer. So even children.
Yeah.
It was,
so they did the rebuild after the fire.
Yes.
And this was, how long did it take to get the town back to?
Well, I suppose probably over the next 5 years or so.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing was the almshouses. There were a couple in town already.
We saw one today.
And Napper's Mite is one of those that was built. I think this is outdated. 1636, is it?
I thought it was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 1615.
No,
Was it?
yes, could be. That's perhaps when it was founded. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. Because
1615.
okay. Again, so you got somebody who's got some money to put into it.
And that was their space for about 10 men who were.
Yes, there were some for men,
poor.
some for women, and some for couples.
Okay.
So his concept really was what became embodied in the term commonwealth. Everybody sort of working together.
Yeah.
And of course, he was sympathetic to the ideas of the parliamentarians in the subsequent civil war in England.
Yep.
And it was that was the support of this concept why they had the Commonwealth, because it was say people caring for each other rather than just the stratification in society. And
which is more what the royalists were supportive of.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
So when did the Civil War start?
1642.
Okay. So
about then, yes.
So the settlers had already left by then.
Yeah, they'd gone then. But of course it did, so it increased the number of people who went over there.
So he saw what was happening post-fire and really liked what had become of the town.
That's right.
And decided this should be exported to.
Yes, it started with a concern for the fishermen.
Okay.
And of course not Dorset at all, it's down in Weymouth.
Yeah.
But he was aware that the fishermen were going off for about 9 months of the year and going across the Grand Banks and then the east coast off New England and fishing, treating they had to take people there to prepare, salt down the fish and then sail back, possibly via Spain, to sell it and then come back. And John White was concerned that it was all very well, but they had no spiritual guidance with them.
Okay.
And no minister to care for their spiritual needs. And he had this idea, which that talked around with other people, that there would be opportunity for these people who are looking after the fish, preparing the fish, to stay there. And this started with an attempt to found, 1623, found a settlement at Cape Ann that then moved to Salem.
Okay. So Cape Ann is in Gloucester, modern-day Gloucester.
Yeah, that's right.
And was there anybody there already, or was this?
The Pilgrim Fathers had just a base there.
Okay.
But they didn't live there, anybody. So it was a vacant thing.
Okay.
The trouble was, it was not a very fertile land.
It's quite stony.
That's right. So they decided that. Also, it was funded purely from Dorchester, and so the funding sort of rather dried up.
Yeah.
So some people stayed, and so they moved to Salem.
So they tried this first Cape Ann one that didn't go so well because the fish trade dried up as well, right?
The fish trade dried up as well. Yeah.
Why was that?
War with Spain.
Yeah, okay.
So the market in Spain dried up.
So then they moved to Salem, but they became overly Puritan? Is that what happened? The religious...
I think as far as things were concerned, Salem was just carrying on at that stage.
Okay.
And so it had some good people there.
Yeah.
But John White kept in touch with them. There seemed to be quite regular communication.
It's quite interesting that was possible.
Yes, I know. This is what I thought at the beginning. But obviously it takes some time to get across and back. But
who was going there from here? Who was in the first round of folks that went over? What types of people were they? And I'm sure you're guessing to some extent.
I'm guessing to some extent.
Yeah.
I think there probably were a mixture of merchant type people and folk who were looking for work. It's interesting, just jumping a bit, this is to Dorchester, where you're probably aware of Roger Clapp's description.
Yes, yep.
Now, he was one of five brothers, and so it was a case of there probably wasn't any opportunity for him, so let's go where there's some opportunity.
Right. Because the fifth son doesn't have a whole lot.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably something like that.
So was it religious freedom they were looking for, or was it really more of just adventurousness?
Well, let's bring in the other elements.
Okay.
Because John White knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so one of the key people to provide the contact with the authorities in London was Sir Walter Earle.
Okay.
Who had a big estate just a few miles east of Dorchester at Charborough. And he already invested in Virginia. And so he was up for any kind of investment.
Was the Virginia investment lucrative?
Not really, no. No, the family became rich on the slave trade, I have to say.
Yeah.
Something, but
yeah.
So he was, but he had the contacts, you see, and he could head up a meeting, and everyone would respect him.
Okay.
The other element is trade, and I think you have to realise there are quite a lot of people trading. Surprising number. You sort of think there've been just the local Native Americans. No, I mean I said mention about Weymouth. It wasn't occupied around the year, but there was a base there which they could use for trading. And one of the big traders in Dorchester, Richard Bushrod, did trade over in New England.
Okay.
And fur and that sort of thing. And so he was interested in anything that would increase his opportunities for developing his business.
So John approached these gentlemen and
That's
said,
right.
we should think about this. What was it called? The Dorchester
Company?
Company?
Yes, founded the Dorchester Company first.
Okay.
That was then wound up because it was...
A couple failed attempts.
Failed attempt. But he didn't give up.
Yeah.
And he still carried on. Again, you sort of think about, I don't know how long it took to get to London from Dorchester.
Well, when you wrote about, they found another ship, and then another ship, and I'm thinking, how much did these ships cost?
Yeah, well,
and they were fitted to go across the Atlantic, which means they were pretty robust ships. I don't know where they came up with the funds for this.
Well, as far as the Mary and John concerned,
which was the one that landed in Dorchester.
That was funded by the ship owner who sailed with it.
Okay. The captain who was...
So in other words, John White had a good eye for where the opportunities, where money was.
And made good connections.
A bit like saying here, where the Duchy of Cornwall approached people to sponsor various things for their new model village of Powdery.
Right.
See, it's the same kind of thing. So you can find people who've got the money and who get inspired by the ambition. And that was where John White, I think, had his talent.
He must have been a pretty inspirational man.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, right up to the time of the Civil War, he was going up to London, and he was part of one of the major committees in London that became the Commonwealth, and up until his death. So he was right at the heart of things.
Well, I'm thinking about when he was trying to persuade them to invest in a third expedition after the first two must have cost them sunk money that they weren't getting back, and he somehow got people to do it.
He did, yes, I think that's it. But no, so he was trying to get people to follow this vision and develop it and learn from the mistakes. But by putting more money in, it should have a greater chance of success.
Yeah.
And so various people were involved, and of course particularly the name John Winthrop is one that comes to the fore, because he became the leader, really.
Okay.
So that was when they're planning for this expedition in 1630. But John White felt he wouldn't be wholly in control of the main expedition. So that was why he did his own little separate thing that he could be in touch more closely with and could control and follow the way in which things developed.
And this was the ship, the Mary and, what was it called?
Mary and John.
Mary and John, okay.
It was a standard form of build at that time, so originally it may not have been the actual Mary and John, but it's near enough to give an idea.
But it wasn't a ship built for this, right? Did they buy a ship from someone, or was it?
Yes, well, I suppose I say it was a model of ship you can get, a cargo ship.
Okay. And how many people were on that? About 100?
140, I think.
Okay, and they sent livestock and things as well,
but,
like cows.
Oh yes, yes. And the thing is, again, you have to remember that ships kept going over, taking more stuff.
Yeah. How long did it take, generally, to get across? 6 weeks?
Depends on the weather.
Right.
I mean, there's this account of one of the voyages where they set off from Plymouth, and at the end of the first day, they were off the Isle of Wight, which is
No,
the wrong direction.
The wrong way.
Because the wind was involved,
right,
and the currents and all that sort of thing. So.
But they generally took kind of the northerly route, and then came along Nova Scotia and Newfoundland.
Right. That seemed to be the favoured route.
So they're on this ship, and they tried to land at the Charles. Is that right? They tried to go to the Charles.
Well, that was what the captain was told they should do.
This captain's name was
Squib,
and he was not loved.
Well, because he was, I mean, I think he did his job. But he wasn't committed to the expedition itself. So you do get this thing that's very well described in Rotterdam. So.
People wrote nasty things about him.
Oh, yeah, well, they did, yes, because they felt totally betrayed, you see. He just dumped them and get stuff off here. See.
Kind of booted them out the ship and left?
Yes.
So they tried to land at the Charles, and instead they couldn't? What?
So that was close to there.
Okay.
So one group split off and went up the Charles River.
Okay.
And that's described by Roger Clapp. And that was their first encounter, that particular group, with Native Americans.
Okay.
And of course, they wondered what was all about, because, of course, it was a matter of curiosity, I suppose, who were these people.
I think you described that they were lining the banks of the river as the colonists were coming up,
Yeah, quite. So, but they found somebody, a trader who was already there.
Okay.
And he was used to dealing with the Native Americans, so he got them over that hurdle.
Okay.
But in the meantime, another group had gone further down the coast, and they found this place that they thought was suitable with this headland, and so it had a harbour either side, and there was a river coming down.
And that was the Neponset River?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they said, this is the better site, we'll settle here. And so this managed to meet up with the others and bring them down. Okay. And that was what became the site, was going to become Dorchester.
But it was not that simple, because they were not prepared for winter.
That was a problem. And of course the first year was pretty awful.
Yeah. Did they lose anyone?
I don't think so.
It didn't seem like it. Yeah.
No, but I mean, get the impression that some of the people dug holes in the ground and things like that. But of course the ship would have taken over the elements of some buildings.
Okay.
So, they talk about kit houses.
Yeah.
They did kit houses. And
like from Sears. They just took them off and built them.
Yeah.
But they also had kind of glorified tents, right? That they,
oh yes, that's right. So that was the thing. You should dug a depression in the ground and put the tent over. And, but of course, then as soon as you start a fire, where's the smoke go? so it's pretty horrid. And I think winter came early that year. And so it was very tough. And they brought some root vegetables and things, but then they needed to fish. They relied pretty heavily on fish. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I've heard tell that they were able to put a basket in the Neponset and pull out fish. It was so populous at that time. Oh yes, there was a special little fish. Alewives. That's right. That's right. Yes, because that was then, of course, what's his name? Israel Stoughton. Yeah. Now, see, he was a chap with money behind him. Okay. And he made more when he he did make more because he obtained the right to have the mills built over the river. Yeah. And so of course everyone had to come through him to get things done. So. He was able to take advantage of the mill, and so his fortunes grew quite a bit. Yes, that's right. Yeah. But of course, say the more people coming over, more cattle and so on. Yeah. And they were also then talking to the Native Americans who helped by them. Yeah. In what sense? First to clear the ground. Okay. They weren't very efficient at it. And the other thing was crops. Yeah. And of course the Native Americans already had crops that they knew would grow. In a different way than the colonists knew how to do, right? So they were doing beans quite a bit. Yeah. So then Dorchester, the UK, or US rather, grew up quite a bit over the next few years. It did, yes. Yes. So they sort of built a meeting house, a church, and everyone then had it was all laid out on the basis that you have houses that are reasonably spaced apart with a paddock behind it, so you're going to grow vegetables or have animals or both. Okay. And then you have the right to take animals out to pasture, either on the headland or on the land that is newly cleared. Do you have any sense of what Boston was at the time? Because Dorchester was not part of Boston. No. Was Boston a thriving city at this point, or? Well, no, it's a new community. Okay. But it had more resources. Right. Because it's a much bigger group started at Boston. And so essentially that's where the leadership is taken over. Okay. But then they get this devolved system of government. Yeah. And so you have people at local level, like in Dorchester, who had representation to the central group. Okay. So I should mention the name of Roger Williams. Because he was very liberal in his views. Okay. And he learnt the local language and so on. Meaning the Native American language. Yes, so, and of course there's several different languages. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that started me off on this period was that when I retired, I thought I want to do something. I was a lawyer, and when you stop being a lawyer, you can't practice law anymore. Okay. So I thought I'll study something. And I chose on an individual, Henry Vane the Younger. Okay. And he was one who was, this is the time of Charles I, and his father was in very senior position in government. But the son was a bit of a rebel. Okay. And the king had a bit of a soft spot for this son of a was to become a close colleague, really. Okay. And so he said, I'll send him off to America for 3 years. And because he wanted him gone, or because he was out of the way? Yeah. So he did, you see. And so he was then, after a year or so, became a governor at a very young age. Upset a lot of people. Governor of what? Massachusetts. Of the entire, all of those settlements he covered, yeah. But this was also part of his remit, was to see if they could get a foothold in Connecticut.
Right.
Because the Dutch already had one or two places.
Because they were in New York. They had settled New York.
Yes, they got New York, but also got one in Connecticut, which is, I think it was Windsor that they occupied on a part-time basis.
Okay.
So,
but they didn't overwinter there?
Well, I'm not sure about the details of that. Okay. But that was why that was identified as a possible place to go.
Yeah, to beat the Dutch.
And of course it's more fertile as well.
Much more fertile. And then, so then the Connecticut expedition happened.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Oh, about Ludlow. What's I forgot his Christian name. Yes, they decided, a group of them, there were people were coming all the time, adding to the number in Massachusetts, and Dorchester was growing and growing population.
Okay.
And so some people there say, well, no. And also Richard Ludlow fell out. He didn't get the particular job he was after.
Okay.
And so he decided that they would go to explore the possibilities in Connecticut.
Okay.
And so, but in order that they could take enough animals and all that stuff, it was too expensive and too difficult to go around by sea, which is the easy way.
Yeah.
So they went across land along the Indian Trail.
Right.
And
which
here again,
was not easy.
No, it wasn't easy. But here again, you should understand that the contact with the Native Americans was generally easy and sympathetic.
Positive, yeah.
And positive. And
they wouldn't have made it, right? Because the native populations gave them supplies and helped guide them. Yeah.
And also, say, on this journey across.
Yeah.
And the overwinter, winter came early, and they had most of the people had to come back again. They just left a very small group. And,
who didn't fare very well.
No, that's right. So eating nuts or acorns and things. But so then the following year they were able to get it established.
Well, they sailed the following year, right? They were able to get it. Didn't they come to the harbor and there was a ship there that they kind of commandeered?
Yes, that's what.
But it ran into a sandbar.
Yes, yes. So they didn't get away straight away. They did eventually, and take some stuff off the ship.
I can picture that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, we're ahead of sandbar.
That's right.
Because initially they were stuck in ice, and they got out of the ice and hit the sandbar.
Yeah. It was a bit of a nightmare, really.
Yeah.
But they're just so determined.
Right.
To do this.
Do you think the quality of determination was part of what is what drove these folks there, and is still part of the Dorchester kind of descendants?
Probably, yes, because you're sinking your whole life into this project.
Yeah.
And how can you go back?
Right.
For most people, there wasn't a way back, because family had taken over the farm and or whatever the business, and so there would be nothing for you there.
Right.
And so the only option really was to soldier on and do the best you can.
It's kind of shocking how little loss of life there was. I mean, most of them seem to have survived, even when unexpectedly the waterways froze solid and they didn't have water.
Yes, I mean, obviously disease was an old issue there, and of course this was one of the saddest things, is the way that diseases were introduced into the Native American. But again, I suppose it's indicative of the close relationship that was, that the diseases could be communicated in that way.
Now, there was one moment where the native populations actually did get militant against the Connecticut folks, right? Where they...
Yes, well, there was one group, was a Pequot from them, who was sort of at war with everybody.
Right. They saw the opportunity to take more territory.
That's the thing.
But they were defeated at Windsor, or Dorchester, Connecticut.
Yeah, so it's... I think it's fair to say that at the back of John White's mind was the thought also of evangelism. Yeah. That he was taking.
Well, he wanted to convert the native population too, right?
Yeah. But in a sympathetic manner.
Yeah.
I think that was it. That's right. It was the argument about settling generally was addressed by documents almost certainly written by John White, and that was a model for all of the settlers. And it did face up to this issue of, is it our land to take? And they said that the natives in New England, quote, enclose no land, neither have they any settled habitation, nor any tame cattle to improve the land by, and so have no other than a natural, that is to say not a formal legal, right to those countries. So if we leave them sufficient for their own use, we may lawfully take the rest. And that was the justification. There being more than enough for them and for us. But the ideal was that they would live peacefully side by side.
Yeah. I mean, they're not using it the way they should be anyway, so we'll just come and take it. There's room for both.
well, of course, they did do treaties with the local chiefs.
And the local tribes generally honored those treaties, it sounds like.
Yes, I think, yeah. So this is one of the things that Henry Vane, going back to him, when there was trouble, so somebody fired on a group of Native Americans and so on, and there was a deputation, and Henry Vane was then advised by Roger Williams the way to deal with it, to talk to these people.
The idea.
Yes, the very idea. So he, in fact, they were invited to the town, and he received them, and they were given hospitality, and they made peace.
Yeah.
And that was, but obviously there's some people, the first thing you do is reach for their gun.
Yeah, right.
And I think that obviously the two elements there.
Right.
But John White was very much in favour of the living
Peaceful,
side by side.
yeah. So close this up with John White's end. He never came.
He never came, no. He got involved in things in London.
Okay.
And but still very much the people who are in touch with Massachusetts generally.
Was he pleased?
I don't think he ever said.
I don't know that it was the Puritan expansion that he had hoped for.
Probably not, no, but he would have just been looking positively as that there was still something going further forward.
Yeah. It's quite a legacy.
But of course he then got caught up with all the quasi-political discussions in London as part of the Civil War.
Okay. So his wife passed before him.
Yes.
And then he was still carrying on as the minister of the two churches, right?
Yes, I really don't know. I mean, he's supposed to have gone through the whole Bible twice.
With an audience.
Bible study. And
didn't it take about 6 years or something to get through the...
Oh yeah, probably. But that's the kind of things he was doing.
Yeah.
So having managed to do all this, talk to all these other people, he had all these contacts, so he was toing and froing.
Right, and reading the Bible through.
And reading the Bible, and then going up to London.
Right.
Which, I say, how long it took.
Founding a colony.
That's right, what he do. So,
he had some energy.
Yes, didn't have television, of course.
Right. So he passed away.
Yes, I mean, the people were distraught when he died.
Yeah.
And so the porch of St. Peter's Church was just draped in black for a long period.
So he remained popular
yes,
his whole
he
life.
did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think John White's legacy is?
I would hope, the thing I always look to is his concept of commonwealth. That everybody has a contribution to make, and to each other, and so on. And the Commonwealth looked not just to their own interests, but they had regular collections for charitable purposes. When there was war in Germany and the Palatinate Church there was suffering, they sent contribution of money to a collection, and it's that kind of wider concern for people, I think.
Yeah.
That is the thing I would like to see as his greatest legacy.
Yeah.
So I'm Anthony Harrison. I'm the Dorchester Town Crier. I've been in that role for about 18 months now. I'm an unofficial ambassador for the town. I help people understand why Dorchester is a good place to come and visit, to live or to work, or all three. So I help people understand what's going on in terms of new events, new shops, new restaurants, new businesses opening, things like that. And anytime there's any ceremonial duties, traditionally it would be things like the birth of a royal prince or princess. Then yes, there'd be a formal announcement, and I'd be called along to help everybody understand what's happened. This is one of the 7 museums.
There's 7 museums in
Dorchester.
Wow.
There we are. This is the Keep Military Museum.
Oh, very cool.
This was the gatehouse to what was the military barracks. So that contains a lot of military memorabilia.
And what year are we looking at this being?
This was second half of the 19th century.
So welcome to Dorset History Centre. This is our inquiry desk. My colleague Anna is here. If we can just get you to sign in as a temporary search room. We've got out a variety of documents that we think could be of interest. Obviously, you'll have to guide us on whether that's the case or not. And I've drawn up a little list. So we've got things like a programme for the tercentenary 1930, which you may well have seen before because it appears to have come from Dorchester, Massachusetts.
Sure, we have a copy.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So this is from 1930, okay.
Yes. So it's quite striking. And then we have things like, just my way around, a genealogy of one of the descendants of somebody who came over from Dorchester, a chap called Thomas Swift.
Am I allowed to touch things?
Yes, please do. And I'm just giving you an overview here, but I will let you sit down and actually look at things properly. So we got that out. There is a memorandum from the Mayor's Office of Boston relating to the Reverend John White's part in promoting settlement, dating from 1917. There's a notebook with some printed items and loose letters about connections. This comes from St. Peter's, Dorchester.
Okay.
So it's about the relationship between the two towns, and correspondence arising out of a visit of the rector of All Saints, Dorchester, Massachusetts, to St. Peter's in the 1950s.
Dorchester made its money from beer and wool.
Okay.
Right?
I saw some sheep on the way up here.
Yep. If you get a chance to go down to a pub called the Blue Rattle,
Okay.
that has a picture on the back wall, a painting by a local artist called The History of Dorchester in Sheep and Beer. And it has a series of tableaus through the ages, all the way from before pre-Roman times, of how Dorchester developed as a market town. It's the county town of Dorset, and has always been its admin centre,
Okay.
even if it's not a geographical centre.
Who was here before the Romans?
There was an Iron Age settlement.
Okay.
So the Romans are chapter 2 in the history of Dorchester.
Okay.
Chapter 1 There's a big Iron Age settlement outside of Dorchester called Maiden Castle.
Okay.
And it's the biggest hill fort in England.
Wow.
It's a series of ramped embankments built into a natural mound that provides a big flat area at the top, which is where the town first developed.
So what are we looking at here? This is the High Street.
This is High West Street.
Okay.
Up until you get to where the clock tower is, that when it changes into High East Street.
Okay.
So this is the main thoroughfare. This is where the main road from London down to Weymouth used to come through before the bypass was built.
Okay.
Before the trains came to Dorchester in the around about 1830, the only way to connect to London was via horse-drawn coaches.
Okay.
So there were coaching houses. The main ones are King's Arms down here, the Antelope, and that one we just passed, the Royal Oak.
Okay.
There were coaching houses where there'll be regular weekly or daily coaches that go to London or other cities around, and they would stop here, change the horses,
Spend the night.
stay overnight,
Yep.
coaching inns, that kind of thing. This is Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity. Okay. Which was also here when John White was here.
Yes.
One of the three.
We'll cross over that way and have a
Okay.
look. So they have there's a war memorial there. Churches are normally open, so you should be able to go inside if you want to.
Okay.
And then opposite here, this is Judge Jeffreys. So he was known as Bloody Judge Jeffreys from the Bloody Assizes, which was trying all of those accused of treason as part of the Monmouth Rebellion against the king. A failed coup in effect, and I think something like 94 people ended up being sentenced to death, of which 70 were executed.
Yikes.
This is St. Peter's, and this is a famous local poet, William Barnes. He was a contemporary of Thomas Hardy.
Who's also from here.
Who's also from here, yes. And William Barnes is famous for the poems that he wrote in local Dorset dialect.
What is the local Dorset dialect? Do you speak it?
No, I don't. I have a very poor
you cry in
representation.
it?
Oh no, I've only once had to do something. I was asked to be the Master of Ceremonies for the annual dinner of the Society of Dorset Men. And part of that is reading out a letter that's sent every year to the monarch. So that was King Charles III at the time now. And I had to read it out in Dorset dialect.
Did you, was it recognizable?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. It's got a heavy local accent, which I will not attempt. So, this is the Corn Exchange. This is the Town Council offices. They have the council chamber up here with a record of all the past mayors of Dorchester. Judge Jeffreys that we looked at up there, that's the oldest timber frame building.
Okay.
In the early 1700s there were lots of fires because the majority of the houses were still thatched.
Yeah.
And they brought in new statutes saying all houses must have slate roofs.
Okay.
So that's why there's a lot of buildings have not been preserved since before then because they were burnt down. This is the King's Arms. This is one of those coaching inns.
Okay.
And it was made famous in The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. Okay. There is the main protagonist in that is a chap called Henchard, who ends up becoming the mayor of Dorchester. And there's a scene where they talk about the council having a meeting in this room here, and the windows are wide open, and all the townsfolk can hear the people
it's right here.
debating.
And this
is now called the Henchard room.
Okay. And this is All Saints?
This is All Saints.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we jaywalking?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the origination of jaywalking, Dorchester, UK. We now do it in Dorchester, Mass. What about these facades? So you said some of this sandstone or stone. Is it sandstone?
Limestone.
Limestone. Was from
Portland.
Portland.
So Portland is a. You're not supposed to run on the pavement.
Cheeky.
Portland is a peninsula just south of Weymouth, juts out into the sea, but it's an outcrop of limestone.
Okay.
And it's been quarried for centuries. I mean, this is one of the artifacts that created from it. This is the town pump. This is
of that, okay.
Right? So this used to be the main source of drinking water before the mains water was put in here. Where there's a campaign underway to reinstate the water source here.
Nice.
The local water company is going to pay for some of it.
Very cool.
But before we do that, we've got to straighten this because it's wonky. It got hit by a truck. And there are metal pins that hold all these pieces together. And we've got approval to get an X-ray done to find out what state those are in.
Okay.
To see if it's safe to move it or if we've got to dismantle it first. But this is the sort of the epicenter. And one of the things I do as town crier, I follow the tradition of my predecessor. So on New Year's Eve, at 2 minutes to midnight, I come and stand over here and I deliver a New Year's cry.
Okay.
And the idea is I finish it just on as the clock strikes midnight. Unfortunately, the clock wasn't working this year. So the bell ringers of St. Peter's, once they heard me ringing my bell, they were there ready to stand by
very nice.
and ring their bells.
So what is this street? This is not...
This is South Street.
Okay, and
this
no traffic, just
the main commercial. It's being pedestrianised now, but we've got lots of historical pictures of when this was a main road, busy with shops and traffic. But this end of it has been pedestrianised probably 40 years ago. And then the bottom half another 20 years ago.
Well, you mentioned the Antelope Walk, didn't you? Was that one of those coach?
Yeah, the Antelope Inn was one of these old coaching houses.
Okay.
So you can always tell because they've got features like this. Do you know what this is for?
Stepping out of your coach?
No. This is, as the coaches came through, they had these big wooden wheels with hubs that stuck out a few inches, right? And if they cut the corner, it would have taken chunks out of the building.
So it's a bumper.
Right, it's a bumper, right? So if the cart wheels come up against that means the hub doesn't touch the building.
It's like those yellow pylons you see at the petrol station.
Yeah.
What's the demographic makeup of Dorchester today? Young, old?
It is quite a retirement magnet.
Okay.
Right. If I just show you these briefly.
Sure.
These are the kind of images that you see of how it used to be.
Oh, nice.
So these are like 100 years old. Some of these ones where they had old-fashioned department stores. But you'll see the same mix of different styles of buildings that are built in. And one of the things we want to look at is how the town has evolved over time.
Yeah.
Have a series of pictures of the same building from the same perspective. Make them merge into each other and things like that. So that's one of our background projects that the Civic Society are trying to work on. And it's not unique to Dorchester, but a phenomenon of British towns over the past 30, 40 years has been the development of out-of-town retail centres. Right? And it's a lot of people complain that town centres are being hollowed out.
Yeah.
We're struggling with banks. I mean, these two buildings on the right here were both built as banks. NatWest is closing in a month. Lloyd's on the corner is already gone. This used to be a big supermarket, Marks and Spencer's. That has just got planning permission for redevelopment as a new Premier Inn, a second one.
Very nice.
But as usual, there's the background of they found asbestos in there, so it needs specialist cleaning.
Mitigation, yeah. Okay.
This is Barclays Bank, but this is widely reputed to be the home of the mayor. of Casterbridge as part of the novel, where he had stables out the back.
You're good. Go ahead. Thank you.
So a lot of the scenes are set in this, based on this house.
So was the mayor of Casterbridge, I admit I've not read Thomas Hardy, was he a fictional character? Or,
yes.
But he was based on the guy who lived here? Or
no,
the fictional character?
The character, from the description, they've narrowed it down. They think it's that particular house.
If I were to read a Hardy, what's the one you recommend starting with?
It would have to be the Mayor of Casterbridge, because that's centred on Dorchester.
Okay.
I mean, the whole premise is he's a poor guy, lives out in the countryside, is falling on hard times, and ends up selling his wife.
Did you say selling?
Selling his wife to a sailor.
Oh. Lucky her.
And then lives to regret it. And
you got to think before you sell your loved ones away.
It's his hidden secret for the rest of his life that he carries with him, but eventually catches up with him. And in the meantime, he becomes Mayor of Dorchester, or Casterbridge. The church would pay for accommodation for usually people beyond working age who were not able to fend for themselves.
Okay.
So before there was any kind of pension, people would throw themselves. So 1616, this dates from. But you get things like this, the green tiles. This used to be a pub.
Okay.
Right. So I tell people when I do the tours, look up.
It took me a minute.
So this was the New Inn,
Okay.
one of many pubs that used to be in Dorchester. Not so many customers now.
No, it's a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Michael Rice. I'm the Secretary of the Dorchester Association for Research into Local History and Archaeology.
What are we going to see today?
We're going to see what's left of the time that the ancestors of the Dorchester people moved out from here. So there's not that much left, because one thing and another, there was a big fire before they left.
Yep.
And also since then there's been a lot of development. So there are buildings from that time existing, but they're within other buildings, a lot of them. But we can see one from here,
Okay.
which we'll have a look at in a minute.
Okay.
Which is just a relic which has survived miraculously. It's a timber frame building which would have had wattle and daub filling with a thatched roof.
How did it not burn?
Well, the fire went the other way, but it was simple as that. But it's now covered. It's now brick coated, and it has a tiled roof as well. But you can see the shape of it. It's actually dates from about 1480. That one. So.
Oh wow! What was it at the time? Just a home? Or?
Just I've absolutely no idea. But
Really?
It could have been a home. It might have had a shop underneath. Who knows? I don't. You see the building with the pent roof and the tall chimney.
Yeah.
That dates from about 1480. So that's a sort of place.
The one with all the birds on the roof.
No, that's the town hall.
Okay.
But it's
right
the
in
building-
front of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a small building.
Yep. This guy right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is from 1480.
Roughly 1480. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it was bricked over after a time.
At a later date, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
But yeah. But the original timber frame is still inside.
Wow. And what was this?
That's the front of the building we saw the back of.
Oh, really? This? Oh, wow.
So you wouldn't know it.
No. Okay. So this nail salon was built in 1480. They needed the nails done way back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really my period.
Okay. What is yours?
I can go earlier.
You more the Roman time frame?
Neolithic,
Okay.
bronze,
Yeah.
Iron Age.
Talk about that. What was here prior to
Right,
Romans?
okay. Well, actually, Dorchester is quite a major Neolithic site. There are a lot of Neolithic monuments around. I can show you one or two today. But there were large henges, 3 within a very short distance in the Dorchester area, There's one not far away from where you're staying.
Oh, this is the henge.
This is a henge, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was later adapted into a Roman amphitheatre.
Okay.
So.
And then a Civil War Army camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, artillery.
And we don't know what the henge was for.
No. Of course, nothing was written down, so.
Right. And it's a pretty distinct ring, though.
Yeah.
So they knew what they were doing.
Oh yes, a lot of earth moving in those days, all with very basic tools.
Yeah.
Antler picks. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh wow, it's quite big.
It is, yeah. There are still performances in here in the summer.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How are the acoustics?
I think they should be okay.
Yeah,
actually.
I would think so.
Yeah. Yes. And this has also been used for executions in the past as well. So there was a woman burned here a couple of 100 years ago. Not very nice.
Who would that have been during the?
Well, she poisoned her husband, and
Okay.
that was supposedly.
Can we go up it?
You can if you want to.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So the Romans heightened it when they made it into an amphitheatre, and there would have been a lot of wood as well,
Yeah.
wooden seating and the
It's quite narrow.
yeah. But presumably they used it for all the normal things that the Romans used for, wild animal fights and things, and
Really, they would have like
so
bears in here and.
probably, yeah.
Wow.
So obviously there would have been a substantial barrier to keep the animals away from the people.
Did they have gladiator fights in here?
I should think so, yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just the normal Roman thing. That's a visible one. There's another one that's been half destroyed by
What is this?
They're preparing to put the trees in the holes.
Oh, they're putting trees in though.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it looked like this,
Yeah.
and where these are is now those circles in the.
And
And
he later dug up a large sarsen stone, which he called the Druid stone, but obviously it must have had stones around it as well.
Yeah.
But further out in the fields, there's a site called Mount Pleasant, which is an enormous site, enormous henge site. So and other monuments of the Neolithic period there as well. So.
And what were these henges? Do we have any idea?
There is a good question. I mean, these people, sort of up to 8,000 years ago, who knows what they were doing?
What were the Neolithic folks like? Why here? Where did they come from? Do we know why they landed in Dorchester and set up?
I think there was a general, after the Ice Age, the last Ice Age ended about 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
There was gradual, because we were still attached to the continent, and there was a gradual movement of people back in.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Yeah. And how did they live here? What did they do to survive?
They were hunter-gatherers mostly. Lots of, basically hunter-gatherers. It wasn't until the Bronze Age that farming really began.
Okay. What were they hunting? What was the...
Well, there are all sorts of things around, things that
Deer?
aren't here anymore. Deer, obviously. Wild cattle, aurochs, they're enormous things.
I've heard of those in Game of Thrones. I didn't know they were real at some point.
But yes. I don't suppose there are any woolly mammoths left at that time. But I think
And they would build their own tools?
Stone tools.
Stone tools?
Yeah, stone
Okay.
tools, yeah.
What happened next? So the Romans came?
No. There was another people movement. The Bronze Age period started, and farming came in, and then there's a whole range of monuments connected to that. Then after that, about 1000 BC, the so-called Iron Age began. That's when the period of the hill forts occurred, and Dorchester has probably, well, certainly the largest in this country, possibly even the largest in Europe, Maiden Castle.
Really?
It's a very large
I didn't
site.
realize it was that big. So Maiden Castle was, explain that a little bit.
It's a hill fort, so it's a series of banks and ditches which could be fortified. It would have a palisade along the top.
Okay.
But people at one time lived in there.
It was a scoop. They would live in the middle, and then they built out walls around it.
It wouldn't. It'd be earth walls.
Yeah.
Well, chalk actually. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But enormous ditches, enormous banks. But by the time the Romans came, it wasn't occupied, apart from maybe a small amount of farming going on up there. But that people had moved by that time down into the better areas, out of the wind, because it's extremely windy up there. Yes.
And so then farming was happening all around.
Farming was still happening all around.
Yep.
And the Durotriges, the people that were here before the Romans, still here after the Romans, they lived in better places.
Okay. So why did the Romans come in?
Well, it was generally economic, I think. There were things in this country they wanted. Simple as that.
As well as many other countries.
Yeah.
Three couches. It must have been quite a well-off Roman.
Yeah.
And they built the walls around what is now the city center?
Yes. Originally, it would have just been ditches and banks. And strange enough, Dorchester has got 3 sets of ditches and banks, which is the only place in the country that has such a thing.
Because they were here longer and had more time to do different
I've
things?
no idea. Well, that's an interesting point, actually. Yeah. And later on, they added the wall as well.
Okay.
Because there would have just been in a bank originally.
Yeah.
But yes, there's certainly a wall later on.
This is the last surviving piece of Roman wall in Dorchester. It's not the external face, because that's where all the good stone went. And over time, people said, "Oh, I fancy a bit of that stone," and they pinched it. So this is the inner core of the wall that was left behind.
What is it? What is it made of?
Whatever they could find lying around. Yeah. So.
But these walls were all the way around?
Yes.
Okay.
So these would have formed part, as it says here, this yellow area.
Yep.
That's the Roman walls. We are just about here.
Okay.
So the northern boundary is the river. That didn't have a wall, but that was the edge of town. But all of these had walls, including big earth ramparts.
These were on top of the ramparts?
Yes, the rampart would have been there.
Yep.
But in about the early 1700s, they decided to flatten all of the ramparts. Dorchester was expanding.
Yeah.
And they planted a double line of trees across all the walks. So you'll see, if you have a look down here, for example, that line of trees, that's been there for the last 300 years.
It's gorgeous.
No, it was a settlement. It was built as a settlement.
Yeah.
Originally, the legionnaires, as part of their payoff, after serving their time, would have been granted a piece of land and so on. And certainly, in the museum, you can see the gravestone of one of those that was here at the beginning.
Wow.
Called Bassus.
Okay.
You see his gravestone. Things happened, and the Saxons were moving in as well.
Okay.
But they were held up. They were held off here for quite a long time.
Okay. It was inter-country. Like, was this a country at that time? When did it become a country?
That's a deep question.
What makes a country?
Well, I suppose it was brought together. Well, it was brought together under the Romans, obviously.
Yeah.
And it all sort of split up again afterwards. Various Saxon, Anglo-Saxon peoples moving in.
Were they then considered kingdoms? They weren't kings.
They had their own. Yes, there were kings.
They were kings. Okay.
But individual kingdoms.
Okay.
This area was Wessex.
Okay.
and Mercia was another one, Northumberland, lots of, and each had its own king.
Okay.
Eventually, the Saxons, the Wessex folk, King Alfred's people, persevered, and
why was it called Dorchester?
I think the Roman name was Durnaveria.
Okay. Do we know what that means?
No. But Dorchester, you know, I've never really wondered about that before.
What is it? Because there's a lot of Chesters and.
Oh yeah, Chester. Yeah, Chester means it's a Roman settlement.
Okay.
Chesterfield.
Okay.
Yes.
It is interesting to me that so many of the towns in New England are the exact same as the towns here. You would think when you left somewhere, you'd almost want to start with something new and interesting, but no, they just took the same exact names.
Yes. Yeah. Well, obviously they still thought home,
well.
didn't they? Yes.
Okay, so we got to the Romans. The Romans left.
Saxons moved in.
Saxons moved in.
Various.
Where's Saxons
kingdoms.
from?
Well, it's Western Europe, so it's North and Western Europe, so it's anywhere from sort of
France or the northern France?
No, it would be north of that.
Okay.
It would be sort of Germany and that area.
Okay. And they moved in why? For resources?
I think it was a general expansion of population.
Okay.
And you know, they were just colonizing, I suppose,
Yeah.
as people did in America.
Right.
Moved across America.
Manifest destiny, yeah. So they came here and they fought who was here, or they just settled peacefully?
I think that's debatable. I think that they probably just, there
just
probably was
immigrated.
some unpleasantness, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was a mass extinction of the previous people.
Yeah, okay. And so is it predominantly Saxon descendants here now?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did they...
Well,
how did-
actually, having said that, we're in Dorset, aren't we? So it's a very mixed up area here because we're so close to the sea.
Right.
So there's always been seafarers coming in
Right.
from different nationalities.
Yeah. So what did the Saxons do? How did they change the area?
Well, they brought proper administration first since the Romans had left.
Okay.
So they had coinage, they had law and order, really.
And what time frame is this?
This is from, well, in this area it's from the 600s
Okay.
through to 1066, I suppose.
Okay. And then what happened in
Well,
1066?
we had the Norman invasion, so
Right.
these ex Vikings that had settled in Normandy
Okay.
came over and took over. After the old king had died, William of Normandy thought that he should be the next king of England.
Was he a descendant of someone? Had he...
It was only through marriage, I think. It wasn't blood.
But he saw an opportunity.
I'm not sure about this. I don't. But
Okay.
anyway, the point is, he wanted this country. The Saxon hierarchy had a different idea, and that they crowned Harold, King Harold,
Okay.
who then had a problem because there was a Viking invasion up north. So he
Okay.
had to march his people up north.
Well, how
gather
far
the
is
people.
north?
Hundreds of miles.
So
So
like-
it's Newcastle side.
So that's
that sort of area.
quite far north.
Yeah. Stamford Bridge, so it's
Okay.
probably a bit south of Newcastle, but I can't remember precisely where that is. But so he had to go up there, and he actually defeated the Vikings.
Okay.
Finally, that was it. Wiped them out. But then
So they had been, sorry, those were the ones that had been kind of herring the coast over the years. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
from sort of the Denmark area, or
Yeah.
that sort of area.
Okay.
But then after he had word that William had landed in the south, so
Okay.
he had to march back quickly, and it was a pretty close fought thing. It could have gone either way, but in the end, he lost and was killed, and then
Killed in battle or
they
killed?
killed him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then William took over.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
That's the book
And then, things got harder for the people living here.
Oh, really? In what way?
I think they were pretty harsh.
Okay.
The new rulers, And all the most of the old rulers who hadn't previously gone over to William, of course, that was it. They were out. So
as in
replaced
killed.
by Normans.
Okay, they were executed or jailed or just
necessarily,
deposed.
just disposed.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So then, what was Dorchester at that time? Just a growing.
Well, at that time, I think it was just a small town.
Okay.
Well, probably the county town still, but.
And what was the industry? Were they doing? Was it mostly?
It was agriculture.
Agriculture. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're
it was a
close
market
to the
town,
sea,
really.
but not on the sea.
No.
So it wasn't much of a port. There's no port. So.
No. That's in Weymouth, 10
Yeah.
miles away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did the
Well,
sheep?
7 miles away, actually.
Yeah. When did the sheep start to become part of the Dorchester economy?
In the 1500s, that was really
Okay.
the time when sheep farming expanded.
Okay.
And again, the peasants sort of lost out on that because the old way of life changed dramatically again because the landowners wanted the land for grazing, nothing else.
Okay. So they took over the farms and okay. Why was wool sheep trade such a?
It was very profitable,
Okay.
and the English wool trade was exporting all over Europe.
Did they do the processing here, or they just sent the
they
raw
did.
wool?
Not here, no. Generally,
Okay.
the processing was done elsewhere, and
Okay.
the manufacturing was done elsewhere. But
Any idea how much quantity was being produced in this area?
no, but it was a vast amount. There
Okay.
were far more sheep than people, obviously, by vast numbers.
Yeah.
Changed by the 1700s because
Okay.
agriculture changed again. It became more modernized.
Yeah.
So crops increased, and landowners made money out of other things apart from sheep. So, and also by then the sheep trade has sort of died a bit because
Okay.
English wool wasn't the dominant market leader anymore because it was cheaper wool on the continent and cheaper
From the US.
manufacture on the continent.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, So between the Norman invasion and the 1500s, what was thriving then? What were the industries? Was it just?
It was mostly agriculture, but obviously
but your
all
own,
the things.
right? Like you would just have a farm and raise your own food and not. Would you
Oh,
have enough to sell?
No. It was
Okay.
Stuff was sold by
Okay.
then. Yeah,
What-
but
what
a lot of it
kind-
was subsistence. But
Yeah.
there was leftovers that were sold at market, and this was a market. Town.
Local market, or they would export to other towns and.
That's an interesting question. I would think it's probably a bit of both.
Okay.
Bit of both.
Do you know what they were growing? What was the main crop?
No, it would be probably wheats would probably be
Okay.
the main crop, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
apart from root vegetables, which people needed to live on.
Right.
But wheat.
Yeah. All right. So that gets us to 1500s and wool. Anything else to?
Well, the English Civil War, which
Right.
was this town was strongly parliamentarian,
Okay.
anti-royal, and
Let's back up a minute. Refresh my memory. The Civil War was that a religious based? Was that the Catholic versus Protestant?
Yes, I suppose. Well, no, not
Or
entirely.
ostensibly anyway.
No, it was over
Yeah.
the King Charles I
Okay.
had this idea that he was a divine ruler, and what he
Right.
said goes.
Okay.
And Parliament didn't matter.
We have one of those now. I don't know.
And and Parliament objected to this, obviously.
Yeah.
And one thing or another, Parliament refused to grant him funds.
Okay.
And so he turned nasty, and one thing led to another, and then there was war. Simple as that. Nasty civil war.
Yeah.
A lot of people killed. Went on for some years.
So how long did the Civil War last?
Oh, it was some years.
Okay.
Some years. And I mean, eventually the king lost and lost his life.
Yeah.
Which was a mistake. They shouldn't have made a martyr of him.
Because that kept the cause alive and people supporting.
Well, the so-called Commonwealth didn't last very long. That was the rule under Cromwell.
Okay.
Because Parliament just couldn't get it together, so Cromwell took over basically.
Yeah.
And
was he the protector, Lord
Protector? He was
Protector?
the Lord Protector,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And of course, then he tried to start his own line of rulers.
Okay.
He wanted his son to take over. So he really was just replacing the king.
Right. Sounds familiar.
But this didn't go down too well, and in the end, King Charles II was invited back
by the parliamentarians who said,
Yes.
So Cromwell, wasn't he heavily involved in the Irish?
Oh yeah, he started a lot of the troubles.
Troubles.
That's going on today.
Okay. So what did Dorchester? Was there fighting here in Dorchester?
There was a bit.
Okay.
But not a lot.
A lot of sending troops.
Yeah.
And what's the population of Dorchester at that time?
It wouldn't be great.
Okay.
We're talking probably low thousands, I would think.
What is it now?
It's now between 20 and 30,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were supplying troops and occasionally having some fighting here. That ended.
Yeah, there was a bit of a siege, but didn't last long.
Okay. And then what? What time of history are we now?
Well, then there was prosperity after that in the 1700s. A lot of the buildings you see in Dorchester date from that period, Georgian period. So it was the era of the small businessman, the shopkeeper,
merchant,
the merchant, and so the middle classes thrived. So everything blossomed, and everybody sort of had a bit of that. So things went very well, and then that moved on into the Victorian period where...
Well, hold for a second. So this was right before the American Revolution.
Oh yeah, and during it, yes.
Yeah, and how did that impact Dorchester?
It wouldn't have impacted at all.
Not at all,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
There were folks who had gone over
I would
already.
dare say there might have been some people that from this area that served in the military that had gone over there.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So then it's Victorian.
Where Dorchester expanded outside the walls for the first time. So there was lots of housing outside the walls.
So the Roman walls were still up during this whole time?
They had gone, but the boundary was still there.
Okay, yeah.
The walls went in the late 1600s.
Okay. And then the earthen.
Well, they gradually denuded over time.
They needed the space.
Development, There was a major brewery here, which you're staying on the site of at the moment. And when the railways came, that made it a very large brewery because they had their own rail connection, so they could export all over the country, so even to London. And then we're into the period after the First World War. First World War.
Nothing happened here.
Well, there was a barracks here. So
there was a barracks,
So a lot of people from Dorchester had volunteered to fight and were killed.
Yeah.
So there's a war memorial, long list of names on. Then we had the Depression.
Right.
And then we lead up to Hitler and the Second World War.
And you were right near the channel, quite close.
Yeah.
So Guernsey, how far are Guernsey and Jersey from here? They were occupied, right?
Yeah, they were occupied. Well, they're a fair distance off the coast.
Okay.
They're far nearer France.
Right. Okay. But they're in striking distance of Dorchester. I mean.
Well, not that far away.
I mean, had they decided to invade the actual mainland of the UK, you could have been in the.
Well, we could have been, yeah.
So was there fortifications here?
Yes. Okay. Oh yeah, yes. You can still see some of the tank barriers. There's one set of tank barriers not far away from here.
Okay. And I assume folks from here were fighting on probably both theaters, right?
Oh yeah.
What was the life like here? Was it austerity?
I'm from my experience of talking to people that lived through it. Yes, there were hardships.
Yeah.
But people, put up with it.
Yeah.
With different attitude in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, made it through. And of course, this area, there are a lot of Americans here. Preparing for D-Day, sailing from Weymouth.
Okay.
So there were a lot of American camps around here as well, and leading up to that time.
What's it like now?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. And you mentioned it's a retiree destination.
Yes, a lot
When
of
did
people.
that start?
Well, it's probably been going on for a long time, but it's just that more and more people can afford to do it now.
Right. And they're coming from
All over the
London
country.
or all over? Okay.
You can hear all sorts of accents around here now.
Yeah. Is it just it's more temperate? It's more. Is this
is
the
more
Florida
temperate.
of the UK?
Yes,
I'm
I
sorry,
suppose.
that's an insult.
Yes, yeah. The
Okay.
weather is kinder down here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.